Chosen one, the atmosphere has shifted because your silence is no longer a sign of ignorance, but a weapon of absolute awareness. They finally know that you know, and it's killing them on the inside as they realize their carefully constructed facades have been pierced by your X-ray vision. You have clocked every fake gesture and calculated betrayal, and your refusal to play along has sent them into a tailspin. See, the real fear was never about your gifts. What terrified certain people was always your memory. Think back to when you were still in the fog, when you questioned yourself more than you questioned others. That's when everyone felt safe. Nobody lost sleep over your talent, your beauty, your spiritual power. Those things could be handled, copied, competed with. But your memory, that's the weapon nobody saw coming. You remember what was said when people thought no one important was listening. You remember the smirks when you were down, the setups disguised as help, the concern that was really surveillance. You remember how you were treated when others thought you were too broken to keep receipts. For a long time, maybe too long, people counted on your confusion. You needed to be disoriented, second-guessing, doubting your own reality. That confusion was protection for the guilty, so you were gaslit. Facts were twisted, entire narratives got flipped. You were made to feel crazy for noticing what you noticed. History got rewritten with certain people as heroes and you as the problem, and it worked for a while. But here's what nobody accounted for. While others were performing, you were recording, not just events but energies, not just words but patterns, not just actions but intentions. Your spirit was taking notes the whole time. And then something shifted. You woke up, not gradually, all at once, like a switch flipped. Suddenly you could see the entire chessboard, every move made against you, every lie told about you, every mask worn around you. You started connecting dots with your memory and your spirit simultaneously. The picture became crystal clear, and that's when the real nightmare began for everyone who played you. Your memory isn't just something people wish you'd forget. It's living evidence, growing evidence, evidence that connects to other memories, other patterns, other truths everyone thought were buried forever. At any moment, you could speak. One conversation, one post, one truth bomb, and everything built on lies would collapse. You are now a walking contradiction to every story told about you. People said you were unstable, but you're standing firm. They said you were bitter, but you're at peace. They said you were weak, but you're glowing. The lie and the truth can't occupy the same space, and you're the truth no one can explain away. Here's what's eating certain people alive. There's regret for what was done, but only because you lived through it. If you had stayed broken, everyone would feel justified. Your downfall would serve as proof of being right about you all along. But you didn't break. You didn't disappear. You didn't become the cautionary tale people needed you to be. You healed, and healing gave you something nobody expected. Clarity, insight, power. Now you're a mirror no one can avoid. And every time people look at you, the reflection shows exactly who everyone really is. Nobody fears your anger. The fear is about your peace. Because your peace says everything without saying anything. It whispers, I see you, I know what you did, and I'm not afraid. That's the haunting no one can escape. You remembered everything, and now certain people can't forget what they are. But your memory was just the first crack in the foundation. What really sent people into panic mode was your clarity. Years were spent counting on your confusion. As long as you stayed unsure of yourself, unsure of your instincts, constantly second-guessing, others controlled the narrative. That's why your mind was played with like a personal laboratory. Gaslighting, story-flipping, reality-bending. You were made to feel like the problem when you were actually the solution nobody could handle. Everyone was confident you'd never figure it out. You were too kind, too forgiving, too focused on keeping peace. Your silence got mistaken for ignorance. Your patience got mistaken for weakness. Fatal mistake. Because while you were quiet, you were watching, processing, connecting dots in dimensions others couldn't access. And then you gained clarity, real clarity, the kind that cuts through lies like a laser through fog. Now you see through every game, every fake smile, every backhanded compliment wrapped in false concern, and people are absolutely terrified. Not because you're aggressive, but because you know, and knowing changed everything. Your clarity stripped away protection. Before, people could hide behind your self-doubt. Your questions could be manipulated. You could be made to think you were imagining things. But now, your certainty is a spotlight nobody can escape. People are scrambling like roaches when the light hits. You're not the same person who second-guessed everything. You don't need proof anymore, don't need confessions, don't need validation from anyone. You've outgrown the lie, transcended it, and everyone feels it in their bones. Your ability to see through the matrix terrifies people more than any confrontation ever could. Nobody can gaslight you now. You're immune, operating on a frequency others can't reach. People don't know how to function around someone who's no longer emotionally available for manipulation. That's why you're either avoided or suddenly met with excessive friendliness. It's panic wearing a politeness mask. Nobody expected you to evolve, but evolution is what chosen ones do. You see the playbook now, every play, every formation, every strategy. The game is over, and here's what really keeps certain people up at night. It's not what you might say, it's what nobody can make you unsee. Your clarity is permanent, the spell is broken, and once a chosen one wakes up, there's no going back, not for you, definitely not for anyone who wronged you. If this touched your heart and mind, hype this video so more chosen ones can receive this message. But wait, it gets worse for everyone watching, because while your memory exposed people and your clarity disarmed them, what you became next was something nobody prepared for, something that would haunt everyone forever. See, certain people didn't just want to hurt you, the goal was to destroy you, completely, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. You were supposed to be shattered beyond repair, because if your light could be crushed, nobody would have to face what it reflected back. Darkness, emptiness, lies in others, but you're still here, still standing, still breathing, still glowing, and that survival is what's really driving people insane. Nobody is upset, because you figured things out. The upset comes from the fact that figuring it out didn't ruin you. You didn't come out bitter, didn't become cold, didn't lose your grace. You walked through fire and came out whole, spirit intact. That's the plot twist nobody saw coming. You were supposed to be a ghost by now, a cautionary tale, a broken memory. Instead, you're the most alive version of yourself, thriving, powerful, free, and it's exposing something in others that can't be hidden anymore. Spiritual bankruptcy, because only someone spiritually empty would invest that much energy trying to break another person and still feel threatened by survival. Your survival highlights what others lack: resilience, depth, divine protection. People can't understand how you still have joy, peace, purpose, and it's eating everyone alive who bet against you. The expectation was a ghost. What appeared instead is the most alive version of you. That's why certain people are seething, not because you know what happened, but because you refuse to become what happened to you. Now here's where the panic really accelerates. The entire illusion required your silence to survive. Everything others built depended on you staying quiet. Image, status, fake humility, victim narratives, all of it rested on you not speaking up. As long as you kept silent, performances could continue. People played roles of the good friend, the supportive one, the innocent one who had to endure you. Meanwhile, your energy was being fed upon, your essence was being copied, your vulnerability was being weaponized. You were the power source behind the curtain, and you never got credit. But then you woke up, and with that awakening, stages started collapsing, because the whole show was a performance, and your awareness exposed every crack in the set. You stopped biting your tongue, stopped playing small, stopped laughing at fake jokes, stopped entertaining guilt trips. The moment you stopped participating in illusions, false identities began to crumble. Entire relationships were built on your silence. People were only good because you didn't speak, only victims because you didn't defend yourself, only helpers because you never told what really happened behind closed doors. But that fantasy can't survive your presence now. The room gets heavy when you walk in, not because you're doing anything, but because your energy doesn't submit anymore. It exposes. You don't have to say much. Your calm, your eye contact, your refusal to shrink. That's the threat. And here's the beautiful twist. Your silence was never weakness. It was restraint, strategy, wisdom. You were gathering yourself, building strength, waiting for the right moment. Now that you're awake, your very existence disrupts narratives. People can't pretend to be kind in a room where you know cruelty, can't claim innocence when you remember the evidence. The masks are slipping, and everyone is scrambling for new ones. But it's too late. You've seen too much. Look, you already know the attacks weren't random, and if you're paying attention, you can feel it. Their walls are closing in. You've also noticed something else. A lot of Chosen One channels on YouTube have gone quiet. Videos removed, voices pushed off the platform. The mainstream media is cracking down on us, but we will not give up our voice. So let's talk about what we're doing about it. That's why I built Destiny Engine, and when you join, you're not just supporting your favorite channels, you're also fueling your own rise. It's a 360 win. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve cooperative intelligence. The beauty is, you don't even have to lift a finger. You put on the headphones, press play, and your subconscious is rewired while your enemies collapse under the weight of their own lies. This is why I created it in the beginning, so everything they did to break you becomes fuel for your purpose. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. What's really breaking people is your discernment. You were thought to be mapped out, habits studied, boundaries tested, notes taken on how to push your buttons. Every move was calculated based on who you used to be, someone who over-explained, doubted instincts, kept peace at any cost. An entire manual was built around that version of you, useless now because you evolved, and everyone missed it completely. Your discernment threw everything off. It's not just that you got smarter. You feel things now that you used to ignore. You catch energy shifts before words are spoken. You sense agendas behind compliments. You recognize manipulation wrapped in jokes. The same plays can't be run on you anymore, because your spirit reads what mouths don't say. You walk in already knowing who's real and who's performing, and that knowledge terrifies people. Everyone is used to controlling reactive people, but you don't react anymore. You respond with intention, or you don't respond at all. That unpredictability is messing with entire systems. Nobody can predict when you'll speak, what you'll say, whether you'll acknowledge anyone. Your stillness feels dangerous now, not because you're plotting revenge, but because you're aware, operating from a place others can't access, can't manipulate, can't control. You're not giving warnings, not offering second chances based on old loyalty. You just shift quietly, powerfully, without explanation. People are terrified because your discernment exposes control tactics before anyone can use them, makes people look foolish, steals power before anyone realizes it's gone. Your moves can't be anticipated anymore because you're guided by intuition, not emotions others can trigger. You're not reacting, you're listening to your spirit. And when a chosen one moves from higher knowing, old manipulators can't keep up. You became the earthquake nobody saw coming, unpredictable, precise, unstoppable. Everyone lost the ability to read you, and in that game, losing means losing everything. But there's another layer to this panic that runs even deeper. See, people aren't just afraid of what you know. The terror is about what you're becoming in real time. Every single day you grow stronger, wiser, more aligned with your purpose, and each step you take in your evolution is another nail in the coffin of false narratives. People told everyone you'd never amount to anything without them, that you needed guidance, approval, certain presences in your life to function. Certain people positioned themselves as your savior while actively sabotaging you behind the scenes. But now you're flourishing in ways nobody imagined possible, succeeding in spaces where failure was predicted, thriving in areas where you were claimed to be incapable. Your success is a nightmare for others because it proves everything said was projection. Certain people were describing themselves, not you, and now that truth is becoming undeniable to everyone watching. What's driving people crazy is how effortless you make it look. The expectation was struggle, stumbling, needing help, coming back desperate. But you moved on like certain people were a chapter that simply ended. No drama, no desperate attempts to prove anyone wrong. You just quietly became everything you were told you couldn't be, and that quiet confidence is louder than any argument ever could be. You're being watched from sidelines, and it's eating people alive, because your growth didn't just contradict lies, it exposed limitations in others. See, nobody can understand how you're moving forward without the things everyone thought controlled you. Without validation, you found self-worth. Without certain networks, you built your own. Without approval, you discovered your purpose. Every milestone you hit independently is proof that certain people were never the asset claimed. Those people were the obstacle, the weight, the thing holding you back. And now that you've dropped that weight, you're soaring. That realization is destroying people from the inside. When nobody's watching and people are alone with thoughts, the math is being done. Calculations happening about everything lost when you were underestimated. Moments are being replayed where different choices could have been made, where genuine could have replaced manipulative, real could have replaced fake, supportive could have replaced sabotaging, but different choices weren't made. And now the life you're building without certain people is being watched. The peace you're experiencing without chaos, the clarity you have without confusion, and it's triggering something primal. Regret mixed with envy, mixed with rage, mixed with disbelief. The person others tried to destroy can't be reconciled with the person everyone sees thriving. It doesn't compute in limited understandings of power and control. In certain minds, broken things stay broken, but you're not a thing, you're a chosen one, and chosen ones don't break, you transform. What people are also panicking about is the spiritual shift happening around you. Questions are being asked, not just about you, but about everyone involved. Neutral observers are now connecting dots everyone missed before, remembering moments that didn't sit right, comments that seemed off, behaviors that raised flags. Your silence back then looked like inability to defend yourself, but your silence now looks like you didn't need to, and that difference is making people reconsider everything. You're being seen happy, healthy, whole, and then people look at the ones who claim to be victims of your behavior, and the energy doesn't match. Victims of actual toxicity don't usually glow like you do, don't usually attract positive opportunities like you do, don't usually carry themselves with the grace and peace you do. So questions are being asked. What really happened? Who was really who in that situation? And those questions are the beginning of the end for manipulators. This is the panic that can't be shared with anyone, because admitting it means admitting what was done. Nobody can say, "I'm scared because the person I tried to destroy is doing better than me." Nobody can say, "I'm losing sleep because people might discover I lied." Nobody can say, "I'm terrified the truth will be told and my whole image will collapse." So suffering happens in silence. The same silence certain people tried to trap you in. Poetic justice. The universe has a sense of humor like that. What got weaponized against you became a prison for others. And unlike you, certain people don't have the spiritual tools to break free, because breaking free requires truth. And truth is the one thing everyone has been running from all along. Entire identities were built on lies. To embrace truth now would mean demolishing everything, starting over, admitting fault, facing consequences, and egos won't allow that. So people stay trapped, panicking, spiraling, watching you rise while sinking, and knowing there's nothing to be done to stop it. But here's where it gets even more intense. Patterns are being seen that can't be denied. You're not just succeeding in one area, you're winning in multiple dimensions. Your relationships are healthier, your opportunities are bigger, your energy is cleaner, your presence is more magnetic. Everything that was said would happen to you without certain people is happening to those people without you. The ones who are isolated now, the ones struggling, the ones looking unstable, and it's all because of lost access to what you provided, not the version of you that was manipulated, but the real you, the energy, the light, the genuine support you gave before you realized it was being exploited, that got taken for granted, thought to be unlimited, thought to be abusable forever, but you cut it off, and now withdrawal is being experienced. Spiritual withdrawal from an energy source that can never be replaced. See, here's what's being understood too late. You weren't draining anyone, others were draining you. Every time someone claimed you were too much, too intense, too emotional, what was really meant was you were giving too much truth to handle. Your authenticity highlighted fakeness in others, your depth exposed shallowness, your growth revealed stagnation. So attempts were made to dim your light, to feel better about darkness in others. But light doesn't work that way. You can't dim a chosen one. You can only remove yourself from their presence. And that's exactly what happened. You were pushed away to protect egos. And in doing so, people lost the one thing that was actually helping. Your energy was lifting others higher than deserved. And that elevation got mistaken for personal power. Now that you're gone, people are falling back to natural levels, and those levels are much lower than anyone wants to admit. This is causing a crisis of identity, because without you to define against who are certain people, without you to blame for problems, what's the excuse? Without you to compare to, how is worth measured? So much identity was built around relationships with you, whether as critic, rival, helper, or victim. You were the reference point, the standard, the measure. And now you're gone, moved on, operating in spaces others can't access, living a life nobody else is part of, and people don't know who they are without you in the equation. That's a terrifying realization. It means everything people thought about themselves might be false, built on a foundation that no longer exists. And rather than do the inner work to discover true selves, panic is happening, blaming, projecting, trying to recreate the dynamic with someone new, but it's not working, because you were never replaceable. The role you played, even the negative one you were forced into, was unique, and now there's a void that can't be filled. You've changed the entire energetic frequency of every space you occupy. This isn't metaphorical, this is real. People who wronged you feel it immediately. Their chest tightens, their breathing becomes shallow, their words catch in their throat. This is happening because your energy is no longer compatible with deception. You've raised your vibration to a level where lies simply can't survive in your presence. You're operating at a frequency of pure truth, and anyone carrying falsehood feels the dissonance physically when you're near. This is why people avoid you now. It's not because they're angry with you, it's because being around you has become uncomfortable for them. Your energy is a constant reminder of what they did. Your peace highlights their chaos. Your clarity exposes their confusion. Your freedom shows them their prison. And this comparison is unbearable. So they create distance, they make excuses, they suddenly become busy when you're around. But this avoidance isn't protecting them, it's isolating them, because everyone else can feel your elevated energy too, and people are naturally drawn to light. So while certain people push you away, others are gravitating toward you. You're attracting authentic souls, genuine connections, real opportunities. Everything you lost was clearing space for what you're gaining now. And here's what's really destroying those who wronged you. They're watching this unfold. They see new people in your life treating you with the respect you always deserved. They see you receiving the support they refused to give. They see you experiencing the love they only pretended to have for you, and it's proving something they can't deny. The problem was never you. It was always them. You're the same person you always were, just healed and whole now. But with different people around you, everything is different. Your relationships are healthy. Your interactions are genuine. Your connections are deep. This is the evidence that destroys their narrative. Because if you were really the problem, you'd still be struggling. But you're not. You're thriving. And that truth is louder than any lie they ever told. There's a psychological warfare happening inside the minds of everyone who underestimated you. It's called cognitive dissonance, and it's tearing them apart from the inside. See, they have two conflicting realities in their heads. The first reality is the story they told everyone about you, that you were the problem, that you were difficult, that you were holding everyone back, that you couldn't succeed without them. The second reality is what they're seeing now. You succeeding, you thriving, you glowing, you at peace. These two realities can't coexist. One of them has to be false. And deep down, they know which one is the lie. But admitting that means admitting everything else. It means admitting they were wrong, admitting they were cruel, admitting they were the actual problem, and their ego can't handle that. So instead of accepting the truth, they're trying to reconcile these two realities in impossible ways. They tell themselves you got lucky. They tell themselves you had help they didn't know about. They tell themselves you're faking your happiness. They create elaborate explanations for your success that don't include them being wrong about you. But none of these explanations satisfy the nagging truth in their gut. None of these stories quiet the voice in their head that whispers, "We were wrong. We destroyed someone who didn't deserve it, and now we're paying the price." This cognitive dissonance is exhausting them. It's creating stress they can't name. It's causing anxiety they can't explain. It's building rage they can't direct. Because the rage isn't really about you. It's about themselves. It's about the choice they made. It's about who they revealed themselves to be. You're just the mirror reflecting that truth back at them. And they hate mirrors. They've always hated mirrors. That's why they surrounded themselves with people who never challenged them, people who never questioned them, people who never held them accountable. But you were the mirror that refused to lie, and now even in your absence, you're still reflecting truth. Your success is the mirror, your peace is the mirror, your freedom is the mirror, and everywhere they look, they see what they tried to destroy. They see what they lost. They see what they could never be. There are spiritual laws at work here, and these laws don't care about excuses or explanations. They only care about actions and intentions. When someone comes against a chosen one, they're not just coming against a person, they're coming against divine assignment. They're interfering with a soul that has protection from higher forces, and that interference has consequences, not as punishment, but as natural spiritual law. What you put out returns to you. This is not metaphor. This is how energy works in the universe. And here's what those who wronged you are experiencing now. Doors that used to open are now closing. Opportunities that seemed guaranteed are falling through. Relationships that appeared solid are crumbling. Success that felt inevitable is slipping away. And none of it makes logical sense. On paper, everything should be working, but in reality, everything is falling apart. This is happening because spiritual flow has been disrupted. When you harm a chosen one, you cut yourself off from divine favor. You create blockages in your own path. You invite chaos into your own life. And that chaos doesn't announce itself. It just starts showing up in ways you can't predict or control. People are experiencing this now, and they don't understand why. They blame bad timing. They blame other people. They blame circumstances. But late at night, in the quiet moments when the noise stops and the distractions fade, they know it's connected to you. They know it's connected to what they did. They know the universe is correcting what they corrupted, and this knowing is its own form of torment, because there's no undo button for spiritual consequences. There's no apology that reverses the flow. There's only the long, difficult path of genuine transformation, and most people aren't willing to walk that path. They'd rather stay stuck in their lies, drowning in consequences they can't name, wondering why life suddenly feels so heavy. But you're experiencing the opposite. Doors are opening that you didn't even knock on. Opportunities are finding you. The right people are appearing at the right time. Resources are flowing to you. Ideas are downloading into your consciousness. This is what happens when you're aligned with your truth and operating in your purpose. This is what happens when you're a chosen one, walking in your calling. The same universe that's correcting those who harmed you is elevating you, not because you're perfect, but because you're authentic, not because you never made mistakes, but because you chose to grow from them, not because you're better than anyone, but because you're finally being who you were created to be. And the universe always backs authenticity, always. You've stepped into a dimension of freedom that most people never experience. You're free from the need to explain yourself, free from the need to prove your worth, free from the need to make people understand, free from the need to be validated by those who devalued you. This freedom is threatening to those who wronged you because it shows them what they don't have, shows them what they're still chasing, shows them what they sacrificed when they chose lies over truth. They're watching you move through life unburdened by their opinions, unbothered by their judgments, unaffected by their attempts to pull you back into old dynamics. And this level of detachment is terrifying to people who used to have access to your emotions. They used to be able to push your buttons, used to be able to manipulate your feelings, used to be able to make you question yourself with just a look or a word. But now you're unreachable, not because you're cold or closed off, but because you've transcended the game they're still playing. You're operating from a place of such inner security that external chaos can't shake you, and people who live in chaos can't understand that kind of peace. They can't comprehend that kind of stability, so they alternate between trying to disturb your peace and trying to steal it. But they can do neither. Your peace isn't circumstantial, it's spiritual. And spiritual peace can't be taken by physical means. This is the final revelation that's breaking people who bet against you. You're not just surviving without them. You're not just doing okay. You're actually better, happier, healthier, more aligned, more purposeful, more powerful. Everything they said would happen to you without them is happening to them without you. And everything they said you'd never have, you now possess. The script has been completely flipped. The prophecy they spoke over you has boomeranged back to them, and there's no escape from this poetic justice, because it's not you doing it to them. It's the universe restoring balance. It's karma completing its cycle. It's truth emerging from beneath layers of lies. And all you had to do was survive, heal, and become yourself. The universe handled everything else. People thought you were figured out, thought you'd break, fold, disappear, stay stuck in the version everyone tried to program. But what nobody expected was your awakening. You didn't just survive. You decoded the entire system. Didn't just walk away. You walked away whole, memory intact, discernment sharpened, soul untouched. And now people aren't fighting you. The fight is against reality. The reality that illusions die in the presence of your truth. Your existence is the exposure. Your growth is the evidence. Your peace is the proof. You never needed revenge, never needed a platform, never needed to explain. You just had to evolve, and you did exactly that. Now masks crack, lies unravel, narratives collapse, not because you attacked, but because you outlived the version of yourself others needed to control the story. This isn't about payback, it's about power, real divine power that can't be taken, copied or destroyed. And now everyone knows what you always knew. The silence others mistook for weakness was your spirit preparing for elevation, and that elevation is non-negotiable. So let the panic happen. Let the scrambling continue to hold together lies built while you were healing. The fear confirms the truth. You were never the pawn. You were always the prophecy. Now walk forward. You've already won. The panic around you isn't your problem to fix. It's karma others must face. You don't owe comfort. Don't owe explanations. Don't owe grace that was never given. What you owe yourself is freedom, peace, the life you were meant to live. People are spiraling because everyone finally understands. Truth doesn't need defense, just time, and time has spoken. You've been vindicated through transformation, not retaliation, through rising, not revenge. The universe became your witness. No lie can stand against that. This is your moment, not to gloat, not to attack, but to exist fully in who you've always been meant to be. Let the panic happen. Let the scrambling continue. Let everyone realize too late what was lost. You're not looking back, not slowing down, moving forward with divine purpose and unshakable peace. That's what victory looks like when you're chosen. You didn't destroy anyone. You just became yourself, fully, unapologetically, powerfully. Everything else handled itself. Now go claim what's waiting. You earned it, survived for it, were chosen for it. The panic around you is confirmation. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And everyone is realizing no one ever stood a chance against who you were becoming. That's the truth nobody can escape. The power no one can ever take. Walk in it. The world is waiting for the fully awakened you. And nothing can stop what's coming for you now. Nothing.